Lesson 13.3 is about parallel and perpendicular lines. This lesson more specifically is about the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. And so I think you already know, and you learned in Algebra 1, that the slopes of two parallel lines in a plane are the same, because with the same slope, the two lines will never intersect. And then the slopes of two lines that are perpendicular to each other are opposite reciprocals of each other. And this creates the following property. The slope of one line, when multiplied by the slope of the other, if these two are opposite reciprocals of each other, will always, always, always be equal to -1. So as a quick example of that, if I have one line that has a slope of 2/3, what will be the slope of the line perpendicular to that line? Well, it's going to be the opposite of the reciprocal of 2/3. So it's going to be a -3/2. And notice that when I multiply these two together, I do get -1. Okay, so let's take a little example. Let's say I have a line that passes through the points 5, -1, and -3, 3. And I have those sketched in here. And we can see that this is a negative slope. And so if I look at the change in y over change in x, I can say that I have a 3 minus -1, which is 3 plus 1 in the numerator, or 4. And in the denominator, I have a -3 subtract 5, which is a -8. So my slope of that line, downhill line, is -1/2. Okay, so the slope of any line parallel to that line is also going to have a slope of -1/2. And I could sketch in a line parallel to that line, and it would make sense to you why it would have the same slope. Every 2-unit change in x to the right results in a -1 unit change in y. Now the perpendicular slope should be the opposite of the reciprocal of -1/2. So this becomes a positive 2/1, which just simplifies to be a 2. And to check this, I can look and say, okay, the original slope of -1/2, when multiplied by the slope of the line perpendicular, which is the opposite of the reciprocal of -1/2, equals -1. Okay, so I think it might make sense to you why a very, kind of a flat line with a slope of -1/2 perpendicular to that line, any line perpendicular to that line, would be pretty steep. It would have a slope, in this case it would look more like that, like a slope of a +2. So anyway, that is how you find the slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines.